The coronavirus has changed everything this year, from the way our kids go to school, from the way we socialize, from the way we do business. And one of the biggest things that's changing is the real estate industry and how we are reacting to different situations. This is going to be a conversation about what sellers need to know in this coronavirus market and how you should sell your property the best way. What's up guys, Lewi Gault here. Welcome to the channel where we drop weekly real estate videos. If you haven't subscribed already, go ahead and do that, hit the like button and all that jazz, and you'll stay up to date with everything that we are doing. As we head into yet another month of the COVID-19 pandemic, things are changing. And it looks like they're probably going to stay that way for a while, at least the near future anyway. Who knows? I'm not a scientist. If you are, great, let us know what's happening. But from the way we are looking at it in the real estate industry, things are going to progress in this new normal, and sellers especially have to realize how that's affecting them and how it's going to work going forward. So let's look at a few key things that I think are going to be super important for sellers to keep in mind as we progress in this coronavirus market. All right, the first one is finding an agent who understands this new normal. Now, what does that mean? Real estate is pretty easy. A lot of people just jump in and can do it and can get a deal done, and that's all fine. But you have to understand everything that's going on in the market to really become a successful agent with a solid track record. One of the biggest things I talk to clients about just now is wealth preservation. Sellers should be looking for an agent who's not just looking to make a quick deal and then move on. You should be looking for someone who's going to be looking out for your long-term wealth preservation. So maybe right now might not be the best time for you to sell, or maybe it's going to be right now, let's get it on the market today, or maybe it could be, hey, let's wait till next year. Depending on your circumstance really dictates when we should list this property. Do you have something lined up already to move into? Are your finances all lined up? Is this a good move for you and your family at this exact time? Have someone who's going to have those realistic conversations with you and not just try and get a deal because the market is so hot. As well as that, you want to be looking into someone who knows everything that's going on with COVID in terms of rules and regulations in their city and state. There's so many guidelines for real estate right now that realtors have to be up to date every single day. It seems like something else comes up in terms of showings, open houses, COVID addendums that we add in. There's a ton of stuff going on, so we have to keep up to date every single day and make sure nothing else is coming out, and if something does come out, we have to update the sellers and update them and let them know everything that's going on. So there's a ton of COVID guidelines that we have to be sticking to make sure that you're safe, to make sure buyers are safe, and to make sure that we're legally doing everything properly so that we don't have any repercussions for you, the seller, and as me, the agent. And of course, the last one, as you obviously know, is technology. You have to have a realtor who's technology based. Unless you've been living under a rock, Zoom has taken over the whole earth. That's how we're communicating with a ton of people. Social media is where people are every single day. Instead of going out shaking hands and meeting people, we're reaching people on Facebook, we're reaching people on Instagram, on YouTube, wherever you're watching right now. This is how we are doing business, and this is how we're adapting. So have a realtor that is adapting with technology as it progresses. The next thing you want to focus on is market timing. When do we sell? Now, you might be in a position where you have to sell right now, or you want to get it done because the market's super hot, and that's great. But with the real estate market here in Denver, probably the same as a lot of other cities in the United States, our seasons got shifted because of the shutdown, because of the lockdown in place. The spring market got moved to summer, summer got pushed up to the fall, and we keep on going. With schools getting pushed back, there wasn't such a rush for people to buy in different zip codes. So the market is completely shifting this year from what it did last year and the year previous, and everything before then. So make sure that you're analyzing what is going on now. In Denver, we have a severe shortage of homes. It's actually starting to become known as an inventory crisis because there's only 0.7 months worth of inventory. And many people, experts and agents, believe that this pace is going to keep up for the rest of this year and into 2021. So make sure that you have someone who's guiding you through this process, timing things right for you, because remember, if you're selling and then buying, the sale is going to be super easy, but the buy might be more challenging. So make sure you're being protected. Do you have contingencies in place? Do you have rent back in place? What is it that you're doing to protect yourself? while buying another property. So watching the market move, make sure you have someone who's analyzing that, and you should be fine. The next one is sell a modern day home. Now, what do I mean by this? Our realities have changed, right? Our homes before 2020, our homes were our family place, we would have fun, we would do all this, and we still do that. But now we have a lot of home offices in place. We have maybe workout rooms in place. So the dynamic of an actual physical location of a house is starting to change. We have dedicated offices, dedicated gyms, and all that stuff. So make sure you're featuring that in your sale. So in your staging process, when you go through and look at different rooms, think about how can we stage this as an office, as a workspace? How can we stage this as a Peloton room or a workout room, whatever it is, and look through the eyes of a buyer in 2020 who that's what they're looking for. As I said, this is going to keep on going, who knows how long for, so we're going to need those dedicated rooms in the house. So staging those rooms as a Peloton room, as a workout room, as an office, as a Zoom room, which is a real thing, by the way, Zoom room, green screen behind you, all that jazz. But those are big selling points for buyers right now. As well as that, you want to make sure your home is updated and doesn't need too much work done to it unless you're selling it as a fixer-upper. But the majority of buyers out there right now want something move-in ready. They don't want to deal with all the stuff. They don't want to renovate a basement. They don't want to touch anything. They just want move-in ready, good to go. So get on top of that. Go Home Depot, do some home improvements before you put it on the market. And with everyone spending more time at home, there is now starting to be a bigger focus on the outdoor space. So your backyard, your front porch, whatever it is, the outdoor space of your home is now becoming a lot more valuable in the eyes of buyers than it once was. So look at your yard. If you're looking to sell, what does it look like? Can we renovate this for pretty cheap? Can we put some turf over here, maybe landscape over here? Go outside, sit in your backyard and see how it feels. If you're getting on a Zoom call in your backyard, would it look like crap behind you, or would it look pretty good? Do you feel pretty chilled out there? Can you work? Can you have people over to socially distance and gather with your friends? So look at your backyard. That is a huge selling point right now with buyers. All right, let's talk about showings. Showings have started to get limited. Now, people are still going to showings. I take a lot of clients around, but a lot of them are starting to be limited to a 15-minute window. There's a lot of rules and regulations around it as well. Gloves, booties, masks. You can only bring in like 3 people per family into the home maximum. So there's quite a lot going on. So as a seller, you really want to think about how you can maximize that showing for the buyer in that 15 minutes. Now, what do I mean by that? There's a few things that you can do beforehand that they can look at before they actually enter the house. Everyone sees photographs on the MLS, that's great, but let's do a virtual walkthrough of the house so they can tune in, they can look on a video, walk through the whole house so it looks awesome, so they know that when they come to the house, they're actually interested in it instead of checking it out for the first time. As well as that, doing a preemptive inspection report is always worthwhile. So usually we do inspections when we're under contract, the buyer gets an inspector in to look at your house and all that. But why don't we do that beforehand so we can provide that to the buyer? Because with a pre-inspection report, we can say, hey, we've got nothing to hide. There's a couple of things that need fixed, but there's not a whole lot of big ticket items. So as a buyer, you're taking no risk on coming in here. So pre-inspections are a really big thing right now too. Also, getting all your disclosures completed early. Whenever we list a property, you have your seller's property disclosure, your square footage disclosure, lead-based paint, a bunch of other stuff. So getting them all done up front and having them ready to go for buyers who want to see them, we should be able to just give them all that as well. And we can do brochures and all that stuff virtually as well that they can download. Really what you want to be doing is having a package for a potential buyer for them to look over before they even enter your house. Now this might seem like a lot of work, but think about it, they've only got like 15 minutes to get in there and out. That's not a lot of time to look through a house you're about to spend $500,000, $600,000 or more on. 15 minutes isn't really that much time. So providing them with all this extra information sets you apart as a seller from anyone else they're just walking into. They can't really remember what house they were in, but with our house, you've given them all this information and they can't forget it. Not only can they not forget it, but they have everything they need to make a good decision on purchasing your home. And the last one we're going to talk about is pricing your home properly. Now we go over this all the time and you have to still do it. Even though we're in a market where we have an inventory crisis and super low interest rates for buyers, it doesn't mean that people are just going to throw money around carelessly. Now, we do see escalation, we do see bidding wars and all that stuff, but only for houses that are priced properly. Houses that are priced too high are still actually sitting there. Now, they might only sit a couple of weeks or 3 weeks, but they're going to have to drop the price as they go. So make sure you're doing your market research, make sure your agent is doing their comps properly. Look around the neighborhood. What has sold recently? What's under contract? What's active in the neighborhood? You have to do all those equations and look at the actual market value of your home and price it there. You can maybe price it a little lower if you want to, get a bidding war going, but the more you price it at fair market value, the more people in the door you're going to get. If it's priced too low, people are going to be like, why is it priced that low? That's weird. If you price it too high, it's not going to get the amount of traction needed. You want to get it right bang in the middle at market value, and in this market you're probably going to get multiple offers, maybe over asking, who knows, but you are going to get a fair price for your home in this crazy market. So don't get in your head, don't get too outlandish with your pricing, make sure you're at fair market value. So there you go, there you have it. We're living in a crazy world right now. 2020 is bonkers. We have the coronavirus, we have all the other stuff going on. It's an election year, it's just nuts. So make sure you're following all these guidelines to set you up for success in selling your home. If you have any questions, as always, drop them in the comments below. Reach out on Instagram, Facebook, call, text, email, whatever you want to do. Let me know if you have questions and I can answer them for you. Until then, I'll see you next week. Take care, guys.